Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel, and today there's just really one thing I want to talk about, and that's this. Meganoid is on the Switch right now. As you're watching this video, you can actually open your Switch or grab your Switch, turn it on, go to the eShop. New games should have Meganoid there, so check it out please, because it's been a long road getting here, and it plays awesome on the Switch. It plays great, it plays mega on the Switch. You should just check it out. And today's topic is gonna be Meganoid, Switch, but also all the other games coming and all that stuff. So go get Meganoid on the Switch, please, and see you after the intro. Alright, so this is probably take 10 of this video. I'm having a very bad day on recording a video, so I'm gonna keep it short and it might go off in any direction. Bear with me, next week's video will hopefully be a lot more normal. Let's just get back to Meganoid on the Switch. How did we get here? Well, in January I got contacted by a Belgian guy, Friedel, aka Serious Lion, on the Discord channel. He was willing to help me get my games on the Switch. We aligned our goals and we agreed on a bunch of stuff, and a few weeks later we started work on the first game, Meganoid. I picked this game because code-wise it's fairly small, fairly easy to understand and follow, but it's still a very good game and has all the stuff that most of my games use and contain. So everything he does for this game would effectively be very useful for all the other games after that. He takes my libgdx Java code and he turns it into monogame C code and hooks it up to the Nintendo libraries and toolset, and that's how games get on the Switch, or at least how my games get on the Switch. Obviously, if you're using Unity or Game Maker or whatever as a game developer, those tools already have a bunch of stuff that should allow you to get games on the Switch. Everything else is pretty easy. Just Google for Nintendo developer and you'll get to the Nintendo developer page, and from there just sign on and fill in the forms, and it's not that hard becoming a game developer for a console these days. The same thing with Xbox and PlayStation, but I'll get back to that in just a few minutes. Alright, so having the code up and running, the game up and running, that means you send it out to Nintendo. We did that months ago, but getting it through Nintendo's whole test procedure and setting up the eShop page and all that stuff takes about roughly 2 months, a little bit more, especially the first time when there's a bunch of things that go wrong and you have to resubmit it and things like that. So it took a little bit of trial and error before we got this first version of Meganoid ready, and then we had it ready, but it was mid-summer, so I wanted to delay it until after the summer vacations and everything. So that's why it's being released in September. We of course didn't just sit around and wait for it. We have been working on all the other games since then. So these are all the games we have been working on, and most of these are ready to go. We got Space Grunts, it's ready, it's already set for release in October on the Switch. It's gonna be the next game. Then November we'll have Gunslugs 1, and December we'll have Heroes of Loot 1, and after that we'll have to plan which games follow, but we will have a Stardash, we will have Heroes of Loot 2, we have Gunslugs 2, we're gonna be working on Snake Core before then. And I'm probably missing, again, Gunslugs 3 of course, and Space Grunts 2. Still a bunch of games coming into the next year, and I'm gonna try and have one released every month. So, and of course Residual. It's gonna be very hectic, a lot of game releases coming up, and even though I don't have to work on all the code stuff, which is a relief because that saves me a lot of time and I get to focus on Residual, I still have to do a lot of work on the back end. Just as an example, I was creating the eShop page for Space Grunts recently, and I think it took me an hour, literally an hour, to get it up and running. And that's even though there is already, I have all the text that needs to go on there, I have images, but they all have to be resized in the right file formats and have to have trailers, and have to tweak them so they have the whole Nintendo Switch logos and a back end slate and everything. So all in all, just setting up one eShop page takes me about an hour, and that's just for European and Australian version. Then I also have to do an American and Canadian version. That doesn't even include setting up the build and all the stuff and information that's required for uploading a build. So It's a good amount of extra time I have to put into this, and that's not even including all the emails back and forwards with Nintendo, and if things go wrong I have to fix them and have to tell Friedel that something has to be fixed, and then we have to re-upload it. And I'm not gonna say we've been working on this for all these months continuously, because obviously we haven't, but every week you're putting in some hours and some days into getting all this stuff up and running and done, and that's all on top of the other work we are doing. Alright, so getting to that Xbox and PlayStation I just briefly mentioned, having these games now running in monogame and up and running in all that stuff. Monogame actually has a good link with all these consoles and can build for these consoles once we have the tools and everything available. So that's the next step. I'm already in the process of getting our Xbox development kits, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. And that means we'll be able to release all these games for Xbox as well. I think it's gonna be, well, maybe on the first game it's gonna be some extra work for Friedel to figure out how it works. But I think that in the games after that it should become a lot easier. And that really means it's gonna be more likely that we'll actually make some money on all the time we put into this, because having it on multiple platforms, the chance of people buying it just increases pretty much. But I'm also in contact with Sony, obviously, for PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy myself, so I really like to see my games on there. So I hope we'll get to the whole process and actually get some development kits and access to it and all the tools, and that we'll be able to release all these games next year on all the consoles available. And for me, it's also very interesting and entertaining to have to replay my old games. I do all the testing because I will notice things faster if something's off or not working as it should. So I've been replaying all these games, Meganoid, Stardash. Stardash, a lot of fun. I actually knew most of the hidden areas. Gunslugs 2 this week, I had to play it and completed it, even the end boss. A lot of fun to play again. And if you're gonna buy some of these games or all of these games or have them already on other platform, I'm also changing up the newsletter. In case you don't know, sign up to the newsletter. Once a month I send out an email, and well, you just missed the one from this week. Maybe I'll post it somewhere online, or maybe in the description I'll put a PDF. Normally don't do it, but for this time only, check the PDF version of the newsletter. Every month I'll send out an exclusive newsletter to subscribers, and we'll talk about the game being released on Switch, and I'll give some tips and tricks on it, because I've been replaying all these games, so I got some good tips and tricks here and there to help you hopefully beat the game or get further into the game. And that way we're gonna do an interesting newsletter the coming months until way into 2021. So sign up to the newsletter, jump on the Discord if you want to chat about stuff, and like, subscribe, all those things, and I'll see you next week, because now I'm gonna end the video and hopefully you'll be playing Meganoid on the Switch. So see you next week. Bye.